that is to the state of Jharkhand, ladies and gentlemen. CNN News 18 has been at the forefront of exposing how there's been massive influx of illegals in border areas. Now, in a first, even the Enforcement Directorate has initiated investigation under the PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, against illegal infiltration of Bangladeshis and Rohingya in Jharkhand. The enforcement agency will look into a larger conspiracy, including the gains from infiltration being deployed into politics. Now, during his rally in Jharkhand, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had alleged that the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha was supporting infiltrators. And the fact was that illegal immigrants from the neighboring country had managed to establish influence over the ruling party in the state. Listen to what the Prime Minister had said.
संथाल परगना में आदिवासियों की आबादी तेजी से कम हो रही है। यहां के लोगों की जमीनें हड़पी जा रही है। घुसपैठिए पंचायतों पर, व्यवस्था पर कब्जा कर रहे हैं। बेटियों के साथ अत्याचार की वारदातें बढ़ रही है। झारखंड के शहर हो या झारखंड के गांव, इस घुसपैठ के कारण हर झारखंडी असुरक्षित महसूस कर रहा है। साथियों, सच्चाई ये है कि जेएमएम के लोग बांग्लादेशी और रोहिंग्या घुसपैठियों के साथ खड़े हैं। ये घुसपैठिए और कट्टरपंथी जेएमएम को भी अपने कब्जे में लेते जा रहे हैं।
Who are these Ghuspaitiye and how do they come in? Here are the details. Our Security Affairs Editor Manoj Kumar Gupta getting us these details. First up, the funding is coming from, and sources, intel sources who are confirming this to us, funding is coming from various organizations of Islamic Cooperation Nations or OIC nations to build madrasas and mosques there. They identify land which is close to the border areas and build mosques and madrasas in those areas. Infiltrators are then sheltered in these madrasas and then they stay there for a long period of time, and in the meantime they're working with touts and paying them off to get and make fuzzy papers, including Aadhaar cards. And one paper made and then they get all the other documents made, and once these documents are ready, they get in touch with agents in other states. So they relocate them into Bengal, Assam, and of course Jharkhand and some of the other areas. Local politicians then also avail of these facilities and these people, and gradually the infiltrators are allowed to stay and establish themselves, because when they get in, these illegals are offering themselves for all sorts of odd jobs, and the women also, a lot of them dragged into prostitution, and that's how these local netas get honey trapped, and then local netas eventually succumb. They allow them to embed themselves and then use this lot under fear, favor, etc. as vote banks. Intel sources allege that the entire nexus is at the behest of the state government. That's the allegation, something even that the Prime Minister had pointed to. The sources are revealing to CNN News 18 that Jharkhand government is actually patronizing the infiltration of Bangladeshi Rohingya in a systematic manner. The demography has also changed in a very designed manner. That's the allegation. There's a significant decrease in the population of the local tribes in many districts. The ED probe is also to understand the source of funding and possible strategy of the state government in shifting the demography from tribals to non-locals. Dr. Ankita Datta, researcher and columnist with us. Nirmal Kaurji, former DGP Jharkhand, is also with us. Nirmal ji, namaste. We've spoken about Jharkhand and the issue. Ankita ji, thank you for staying on. But let me ask you, Nirmal Kaurji, how serious is this problem? Because the numbers show a significant dip in the tribal population, the Hindu population, but an unnatural jump in the Muslim population in these regions. Because even if the TFR ratio were to be slightly higher, these numbers of a shift from about 9% to 22% are alarming.
It's a geometrical kind of increase, and it's a very, very serious issue, serious problem right now in Jharkhand and of course in many other places also. Pakur area of Jharkhand is very close to the Chicken's Neck. You know, that is the area where they generally come in from, and they're in Sahabganj and all the districts. And what is happening is the Muslim men who are coming from Bangladesh and other places, they are marrying the local tribal women. And these tribal women, they are sarpanch or something, and they get to exercise all the power. And there are many instances in which a whole bunch of Aadhaar cards was found in a mosque, and they all had the same date of birth. And now there are places where schools are being closed on Friday, in Jamtara and all. Schools are being closed on Friday without any authorized this thing. Sunday is the day of rest. Sunday is the day schools are closed. The country over. But on their own in Jharkhand, there are places where they have started closing the schools on Friday. कि जुम्मे का नमाज है, जुम्मे का नमाज है या जुम्मे का whatever, so Jummah has to be a holiday. So they do that. And the most serious, recently in Muharram, there is a place called Gopinathpur there, a very Hindu village, but the configuration has changed so much by these migrants that on the day of the Muharram, there was some, they just drove them away, the Hindu families. All the Hindu families ran away from the village. Now the village is a fully Muslim village in Gopinathpur. The Hindus are refusing to come back. So it's a very, very, the problem is assuming very serious dimensions. And I think it's, where are they getting Aadhaar cards? And they have these small children taking out processions with Palestinian flags. What are the small children who are just barely 11, 10, some of them are on motorcycles. And lots of houses, lots of places they're displaying Pakistani flag. And this Sultanate Usmania, the Ottoman Republic flag. It is everywhere in so many localities. I don't know what the Ottoman Empire flag has to do with us. There was that soap, some soap translated by Pakistani, Artugul or something. That is where they are watching and they are displaying that flag. The Palestinian sympathy is so much. They are taking out Mohalla Juluses, doing some Nukkad kind of a thing with Palestinian flags and in Palestinian support. So situation in Jharkhand is very bad. And of course, there's so much of increase in number of madrasas and, these mosques. And the mosques are costing, there's a madrasa in Chandaway, very close to Ranchi, in Kanke block, Chandaway. Where it is, I think the mosque and the madrasa together wouldn't have cost less than 20 crores. Such a large mosque and, and so many places, there's so much of, transit, people, floating population in mosques and madrasas. 200 families come, they must be coming from Bangladesh on some forced papers, and within a few days they're out. They have networks all over the country. They go somewhere, maybe to work as construction labor, domestic help, a driver, whatever, you name it. But they absorb so quickly into the system and they vanish. They vanish almost overnight when these families come. And there's no strict control. There are all the river beds, the mountain sides, it's a very hilly terrain. Ramgarh also on the hillside, the other side of the hill. All the Rohingyas and Bangladeshis, they live in a 10 by 10 kind of a jhopdi, a structure, and there are at least 30-40 of them living in that house.
My God.
They're living in, but they've come here, and the worst part is that the demography has changed so much that the place, the peace has become very unstable. It's just waiting for
because if they've got to embed themselves, they are not going to get into local, they are going to encroach into property. Either it's government or it is claimed, and then suddenly they use the Waqf Act and then they claim it is Waqf, and then nobody can touch those lands, and then they are let out at, given it back to them, and they continue to dwell on those at very, very nominal rates. So this has also been reported. I just want to quickly ask Ankita Dattaji, and then I'll come back to you, Nirmal Kaurji. Does this then make a very strong case for NRC? Because we can't have tribal lands, land of indigenous people being taken away. This is Jharkhand. It has happened in Assam in the past. It's happened in Tripura. It's happened in It's happened in Manipur. It's happened in so many states.
Yes, true. We all know about this problem. So therefore, it is the NRC, National Register of Citizens, extremely important. At the same time, it is also extremely urgent to spread awareness in the society about the threats of demographic invasion, because if this flow of the immigrants, if it is not timely regulated, this is soon going to outnumber, and it has already outnumbered the natives in so many different areas of Assam. In the Barak Valley, in Lower Assam, bordering Bangladesh, where women's safety has become a serious concern, and this is traumatic upon families. It is already adding to the problems of social, economic, cultural, and administrative marginalization of the native people in their own homeland. Illegal immigrants, they have already led to a massive increase in organized crimes like cross-border wildlife trade, drugs and cattle smuggling, especially in Dhubri district of Lower Assam, bordering Bangladesh, extortion, looting in many border areas of the northeast, including Assam, especially those districts which border West Bengal along the sensitive Siliguri corridor. There are intelligence reports which have pointed fingers time and again at the Jamaat-e-Islami and its patron, the ISI of Pakistan, because both of them have been actively using madrasas that have proliferated in increasing numbers along the India-Bangladesh border to infiltrate immigrants into India and settle them with the help of their kith and kin who are already settled here, and then so that they could be used as spies. They are well trained for that purpose. So it is all the more important at present now for the native people to understand the looming threats of demographic invasion posed by these migrants, and see this question, this problem of Islamic immigration is today causing havoc on the politics and the culture of the Western countries. Yes, and we are also grappling with this problem of an altered demographic profile in our own country, besides increasing crime rates.
Should along with the next census, NRC be brought in, Nirmal Kaurji? Is that now the need of the day if we need to secure our land borders and also our own people?
Definitely it is. I think we have to address this issue of demography very, very quickly and in a very strict manner, enforce it very strictly and thoroughly. Because it's not only Jharkhand, it's all over. Like Uttarakhand, when 30 years, I have trekking friends, mountaineer friends. 30 years ago, we trekked all over Uttarakhand and there was nothing. It was Dev Bhumi really in the true sense. Now it is Mazar Bhumi. Everywhere Mazars are coming. People are coming via Nepal. People are coming, Nepal is the regional headquarters of ISI. People are coming via Nepal. They are coming into Araria, Purnia, Uttarakhand, all these areas, Kishanganj, Bihar, Dinajpur, north-south, then Chaubish Pargana, right, Murshidabad, all these districts. And the problem is now, that this chicken's neck is become a very, very, like any time it can get out of hand. So I think the solution is immediately, as has been mooted earlier,
right.
Because there are 3-4 states there. To take districts out of there and make a union territory where immediately things can move. Because the state governments are very, very myopic they can't see beyond their vote bank. And for them, every illegal immigrant is one vote. And they get them in droves so that they can, they arrange their voters' ID, they arrange their...
We'll try and deep dive into this with a cartographic understanding. We'll try and do that very, very soon here on The Right Stand, and I'll request you ladies to join us back then when we have a longer discussion, because this Chicken's Neck region and what you said, how it's spreading, needs to be represented on our map, and for us to understand the national importance, the strategic importance of getting into the act and acting sooner than later. Thank you very, very much, Nirmal Kaurji and Ankita Datta. Thank you very, very much. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, it's the Hezbollah who've had a pager strike. Now, who breached the terror security wall? Stay with us.